Welcome to a new episode where ancient wisdom meets modern life. Today, we are going to explore timeless insights from Stoic philosophy, practical tools that have helped generations of thinkers, warriors, and everyday people navigate the chaos of the world with clarity and calm. You're about to uncover 9 Stoic strategies that will not only sharpen your mind, but also give you a powerful edge in handling life's daily challenges. In a world full of noise, distractions, and constant demands, how do we stay centered? How do we respond to setbacks without losing ourselves? The Stoics offer answers not through abstract theory, but through simple, powerful practices that bring peace and strength from within. Stick with us until the end, because each key we explore today will open a new door to deeper self-awareness and emotional resilience. And if this content speaks to you, don't forget to support our journey by subscribing, leaving a like, and sharing your thoughts in the comments. Let's grow this space of reflection and strength together. Now, let's begin with one of the most underrated Stoic habits. Lesson 1. Stay silent about your struggles. The strength of quiet resolve. Let's start with something that might sound counterintuitive in today's world. Stop talking so much about your problems. Now, that doesn't mean you should bottle everything up or never seek support. Not at all. But the Stoic approach encourages us to first look inward before turning outward. Why? Because our energy is limited, and every moment spent complaining is a moment stolen from taking meaningful action. The Stoics recognized that pain, setbacks, and hardship are an unavoidable part of being human. But instead of obsessing over the pain, they asked a different question. What can I do with this? What can this moment of difficulty teach me? As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the obstacle on the path becomes the path. In other words, what stands in your way is not your enemy, it's your training ground. Imagine facing a tough week at work. You're overwhelmed, under pressure, and tempted to tell everyone how stressed you are. But what if, instead, you sat down, made a plan, tackled one task at a time, and quietly handled your business? That quiet execution, that internal shift, is Stoicism in action. The wisdom of restraint. There's a kind of quiet power in choosing not to broadcast your suffering. It's not about pretending to be invincible. It's about learning to sit with discomfort without needing to advertise it. It's about growing strong enough that you don't need constant validation from others to keep going. This isn't suppression. It's strength, a self-generated strength that builds over time. Because the truth is, talking too much about our pain often magnifies it. The more we narrate our suffering, the more we reinforce it in our minds. The Stoics suggest a different route. Focus on solutions, not symptoms. Move your energy from rehashing the problem to quietly fixing it. Shift your perspective. One of the most empowering Stoic practices is learning to shift your point of view. You're not a victim of your circumstances. You're the architect of your response. That's where your true power lies. Next time you're caught in an uncomfortable or frustrating situation, pause. Ask yourself, is there a better way to look at this? Could this be a test of patience, a chance to practice discipline, an opportunity to grow? Whether you're stuck in traffic, dealing with rejection, or facing uncertainty, these aren't just inconveniences. They are invitations to go deeper, to become stronger, to live more intentionally. Your challenge today: act without announcing. Here's a simple Stoic challenge for the week ahead. Face your next difficulty with silence and strength. Don't post about it. Don't seek sympathy. Just face it. Plan, move, adapt, learn. Let your response speak louder than any complaint ever could. By doing so, you begin to build a quieter, more grounded confidence. One that doesn't waver with every storm. One that isn't dependent on external validation. This is how real inner peace is born. Remember, true resilience isn't about avoiding problems. It's about confronting them with calm determination and walking through them with a steady mind and a quiet heart. If you found value in this lesson, stay tuned. We're just getting started. In the next part, we'll explore why protecting your privacy and keeping your intentions close to your chest can amplify your power in ways you never expected. Until then, take a breath, embrace the silence, and keep walking your path, the quiet strength of keeping things to yourself. Welcome back, fellow seekers of wisdom. Today, we're exploring a principle that may seem simple on the surface, but carries profound depth when truly practiced: the art of not sharing everything. In a world where oversharing has become the norm, where social media encourages us to announce every detail of our lives to the world, the idea of holding back, of keeping something just for ourselves, might seem counterintuitive. But to the Stoics, this quiet restraint was not only wise, it was essential, guarding the inner world. The Stoic philosophers taught that our inner world, our thoughts, emotions, dreams, fears, and plans, is sacred. It's not that they believed we should never open up. Rather, they understood that discernment is vital. Not every person is worthy of knowing the deepest parts of us. As Epictetus once said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." In the same spirit, we might say, don't explain your intentions, your plans, or your wounds to everyone. Live them, protect them, and share them only when the time and the person is right. By doing so, you build a sanctuary within, a place of stillness and safety where your true self can grow without the interference of careless opinions or unsolicited judgments. The discipline of discretion. There's a certain discipline involved in not immediately expressing everything we feel or think. When we practice restraint, we strengthen our willpower and deepen our focus. Imagine starting a new venture, perhaps a creative project or a meaningful lifestyle change. The moment we speak about it too soon, we invite others into the sacred space of our intention. Their doubts, envy, or even misplaced enthusiasm can shift our own perception and weaken our resolve. Holding back is not suppression, it's preservation. It allows our thoughts and plans to mature in private before being exposed to the light of outside judgment. Like a seed growing underground, our inner life needs quiet and time to take root. Choosing confidants wisely. This doesn't mean you must isolate yourself or hide behind a wall. Stoicism is not about cold detachment, but about wise connection. It's about knowing who has earned your trust, who has shown consistency, respect, and care, and sharing yourself accordingly. Just as we wouldn't leave our most valuable possessions in plain sight for anyone to take, we shouldn't place our most delicate emotions or ambitions in the hands of those who haven't proven they can carry them with respect. Trust, then, becomes an intentional act, a gift offered with awareness, not a default response to familiarity or social pressure. The inner fortress. By learning to keep certain things to ourselves, our joys, our struggles, our triumphs, we begin to build an inner fortress, not one of stone and coldness, but of clarity and strength. We start to rely less on external validation and more on our own sense of purpose. We move from reaction to reflection, from impulse to intention, and as we do, we become more at peace within ourselves. We stop looking outward for constant affirmation and instead discover a wellspring of confidence and resilience within. A Stoic practice. So here's a gentle invitation. Start practicing this quiet power. Notice when you feel the urge to share something, an achievement, a plan, even a moment of pain, and pause. Ask yourself, is this the right time? Is this the right person? What am I seeking in this moment? Connection, reassurance, or something else entirely? The goal isn't secrecy. The goal is sovereignty over your emotions, your choices, your path. By embracing this Stoic principle, you don't become distant, you become discerning. You don't become closed, you become conscious. And in doing so, you create space for deeper, more meaningful relationships, not just with others, but with yourself. If this message resonates with you, consider applying it in your own life. Keep one dream just for yourself today. Let it grow in silence, water it with care, and when the time comes, share it, not because you need approval, but because it's ready. The quiet power of humility, a Stoic perspective. Hey there, fellow traveler on this path of wisdom. Today, let's take a moment to reflect on something both subtle and powerful. Humility. In a world where everyone is encouraged to announce their victories and curate their lives for admiration, the Stoics offer us a different approach, one that centers on quiet strength, inward growth, and the beauty of letting our actions speak for themselves. Imagine you've just accomplished something significant. Maybe you've landed a new job, finished a challenging project, or reached a personal milestone. Naturally, you feel proud, and you should. Acknowledging your effort and perseverance is part of living a reflective life. But the Stoics would encourage us to pause before we broadcast that success to the world. They would ask, why do you feel the need to share this? Is it from joy, or is it from a desire to be validated? For the Stoics, true success is not defined by applause, awards, or approval. It's measured by your character, your discipline, and your internal peace. Epictetus once said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. In other words, your life, how you act, how you serve others, how you hold yourself during both triumph and hardship is your most powerful message. Let's take the metaphor of a candle. A candle doesn't make noise when it shines. It simply gives light. Likewise, a person of virtue doesn't need to proclaim their worth, their presence, their consistency, their quiet contributions. These reveal everything. In today's world, however, this way of living is a challenge. Social media conditions us to seek quick validation, to share our highlights and measure success through numbers, likes, comments, shares, but those metrics are fleeting. They often lead to a dependence on approval, and when the praise stops, so does our sense of worth. The Stoic mindset reminds us that self-respect and inner peace are far more lasting than public recognition. Humility, then, is not about shrinking ourselves or denying our strengths. It's about staying grounded. It's about knowing that while our achievements may be meaningful, they don't define our value, who we are when no one's watching. That's where true character is found. Imagine someone who consistently helps others, improves themselves daily, and navigates life with calm and purpose. They don't need a stage or a spotlight. Their integrity is felt by everyone around them. That's the kind of quiet strength the Stoics admired. It inspires not through performance, but through presence. So here's a gentle challenge for you. The next time you do something you're proud of, try keeping it to yourself. Not out of secrecy, but as an act of inner celebration. Let it settle in your heart. Let the satisfaction come from knowing you did your best, regardless of who noticed. Then move forward, ready for the next challenge, carrying that quiet confidence with you. In doing so, you practice a deeper kind of fulfillment, one rooted not in praise, but in purpose. Over time, this way of living builds a foundation so steady that no applause can inflate it, and no criticism can shake it. In the end, humility isn't about thinking less of yourself. It's about thinking of yourself less and living in service of something greater, your values, your growth, your contribution to the world. Through this, you don't just live well, you inspire others to do the same. Not by what you say, but by the strength of your silent example. Lesson 4. The quiet power of moving in silence. Welcome back, future Stoics. Today's lesson is all about embracing silence, not as weakness, but as strength. It's about resisting the urge to broadcast your every move, and instead learning the quiet discipline of strategic restraint. Picture yourself not as a loud warrior on the battlefield, but as a calm tactician, playing your game with patience and precision. In a world obsessed with sharing, where every goal, every plan, and every thought gets posted online, the idea of keeping things to yourself might feel unnatural. You might even ask, if I don't share my goals, how will people support me or keep me accountable? That's a fair question, but the Stoics had a different approach. They understood that power often lies not in what you say, but in what you hold back. Why the Stoics valued silence. Stoic thinkers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius believed in focusing only on what's within your control. And one thing that is absolutely within your control, what you choose to share and what you don't. Epictetus once said, first, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. No announcements, no hype, just intention, followed by action. It's a philosophy grounded in discipline. Let your progress speak louder than your promises. 3 reasons to keep your plans to yourself. Let's break down why this matters, especially in today's noisy, fast-paced world. 1. Protect your focus. When you share your goals with others, even with good intentions, you invite their opinions, doubts, and unsolicited advice. That noise can dilute your focus. Strategic silence acts like a shield. It helps you maintain a clear mind and stay aligned with your vision, free from distractions and outside pressure. 2. Avoid the illusion of progress. Studies have shown that simply talking about your goals can trigger a sense of premature accomplishment. Your brain gets a little hit of dopamine, and suddenly the urgency fades. Silence keeps you grounded. It keeps you hungry. When no one's clapping yet, you keep pushing, building, and refining. 3. Build inner strength. When you rely less on external validation, you begin to trust yourself more deeply. Strategic silence helps you become self-reliant, making decisions on your own, learning through quiet trial and error, and taking full responsibility for your path. That kind of independence is a superpower in a world that constantly seeks approval. Real-life scenarios. The wisdom of silence in action. Let's bring this to life. Imagine you're working on a new business idea, a passion project you hope to turn into a full-time career. If you start telling everyone too soon, you might hear things like, "That sounds risky," or "Do you really think that'll work?" Even the most well-meaning advice can shake your confidence. But if you build quietly, step by step, you stay focused and protect your momentum. Then, when you're ready, you can let your results do the talking. Or maybe you're planning to run a marathon. Telling people might feel motivating at first, but it can also add pressure. What if you get injured or fall behind schedule? Keeping your training journey private allows you to focus on your pace, not someone else's expectations. The Stoic challenge: choosing silence with purpose. Here's a small challenge. The next time you feel the urge to share your plans, pause. Ask yourself, is this helping me move forward, or is it just noise? Am I seeking support or validation? There's no shame in wanting encouragement, but strategic silence is about choosing your moments wisely. This isn't about secrecy or isolation. It's about clarity. It's about understanding that growth often happens in the quiet, behind closed doors, away from the spotlight. When you nurture your goals in silence, you give them space to grow without interference. Lesson: speak less of others. Grow more within. A Stoic reflection. In a world that thrives on constant updates, viral drama, and whispering behind screens, choosing silence over gossip can feel almost rebellious. But for the Stoics, this choice wasn't just wise, it was essential. They believed that a disciplined mind and a virtuous character are far more powerful than any clever remark made at someone else's expense. Let's unpack this idea and see how we can apply it in our daily lives. The Stoic view on gossip. To the Stoics, speaking ill of others, even in passing, was a misuse of one of our most powerful tools. Speech. Words can heal, uplift, and build bridges, but they can also harm, divide, and destroy trust. When we indulge in gossip, we shift our attention away from what truly matters, our own thoughts, actions, and personal growth, and instead place that energy into criticizing lives we don't fully understand. Seneca once wrote, "What progress have I made? I have begun to be a friend to myself." A friend to oneself does not poison their mind with the bitter satisfaction of judging others. That kind of satisfaction is fleeting, and it often leaves behind a residue of guilt, comparison, or self-doubt. Redirecting the focus inward. Think about the time and energy we spend talking about others, their choices, flaws, relationships, or mistakes. What if that time was redirected toward understanding our own emotions, habits, and purpose? Every moment spent judging someone else is a moment not spent reflecting on how we can be kinder, wiser, more disciplined. Gossip distracts us from doing the deep work that actually moves us forward in life. The Stoic way is about turning inward, about asking, what am I responsible for right now? And how can I live more honorably today? Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, put it simply: be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. In other words, we hold ourselves to high standards, and we grant others the freedom to live their lives, even imperfectly. Without our commentary, choosing your circle and your influence. Our conversations shape our environment. When we participate in gossip, we don't just influence how others see the person being talked about. We also show the kind of person we are. Words are never neutral. They either plant seeds of understanding or spread weeds of division. By choosing to speak with integrity, we can change the tone of entire rooms. A work environment, for example, becomes more supportive and productive when people stop whispering about each other and start encouraging one another. A friend group grows deeper when members feel safe from judgment and free to be vulnerable. You have more power than you think. One choice: to remain silent, to redirect a conversation, or to offer a kind word instead, can create ripples of positivity. The daily practice: resisting the urge. Of course, resisting gossip isn't always easy. It's tempting. It often masquerades as concern, curiosity, or bonding. But the Stoic path is rarely the easiest. It's the most meaningful. The next time you're in a situation where others begin to speak negatively about someone not present, take a breath. Ask yourself, is this helpful? Is this kind? Is this necessary? If the answer is no, you have your answer. You can excuse yourself, change the subject, or simply stay silent. It's a quiet kind of strength, one that speaks volumes. A Stoic reminder: in the end, we must remember that we're each on our own journey. We all struggle, fall short, and make mistakes. The Stoics teach us to extend compassion rather than criticism. They challenge us to become so focused on our own development that the urge to judge others simply fades away. Choose to be the kind of person who lifts others by example, not the one who tries to feel taller by cutting others down. By letting go of gossip and tuning into our own growth, we open the door to deeper peace, stronger character, and the kind of influence that truly changes the world, quietly, powerfully, and from within, the quiet grace of invisible goodness. A Stoic reflection on silent virtue. In a world that rewards visibility, recognition, and applause, there's something deeply radical about doing good in silence. The sixth Stoic lesson invites us to explore the hidden strength in unspoken kindness, acts of goodness that are carried out without the need for attention, praise, or validation. You may wonder, what's the harm in sharing the good I do? Can't it inspire others? Isn't it okay to feel proud of helping people? Those are valid questions, and yes, there is merit in motivating others through positive example. But the Stoics invite us to dig deeper into our motivations, our sense of self, and the nature of true virtue. Virtue needs no witness. The Stoic philosophers Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus were clear in their view that virtue is its own reward. A good deed, in their eyes, is something complete in itself. It doesn't need applause to be meaningful. In fact, seeking recognition for our kindness can weaken its power, reducing it to a transaction. I do this so you think better of me, Seneca wrote. The reward of a good deed is to have done it. That simple statement captures an entire worldview. When we act with honesty, generosity, or compassion, the value lies not in what others see, but in who we become by doing it. A stream that nourishes silently. Consider a stream that winds through a quiet meadow. It waters the trees, sustains the animals, and nourishes the land. It never announces its value. It never demands praise. Yet without it, life would fade. Our silent acts of goodness are much the same. A quiet gesture of support, an unnoticed donation, an anonymous helping hand. These moments may seem small, but they ripple outward in ways we'll never fully know. And because they are given freely, without expectation, they carry a unique kind of power. They remind us that the world doesn't need more performance. It needs more sincerity, escaping the trap of applause. We live in a culture deeply shaped by social media and constant visibility. Every good action becomes content. Charitable work becomes a caption. Generosity is filtered through lenses and hashtags. It's tempting to share, to post, to show the world that we are doing our part. But here's the danger. When our actions are guided by the response they'll receive, we begin to act for approval rather than for goodness itself. We shift from being inwardly grounded to outwardly driven. And slowly, quietly, our character erodes, not from malice, but from misplaced motivation. The Stoic path is different. It asks us to live from the inside out, to do good, not because the world is watching, but because it's the right thing to do, to let go of the need to be seen, and in doing so, to see ourselves more clearly. Let your life speak. So what's the Stoic challenge? It's simple, but not easy. Do good, and don't say a word about it. Let your kindness be a quiet offering. Let your integrity shine through your actions, not your announcements. Let the people around you discover, on their own, the depth of your character, not because you told them, but because they felt it. This doesn't mean hiding who you are. It means trusting that goodness has its own gravity. You don't have to promote it. Just practice it, live it, embody it. In doing so, you'll find a different kind of peace, the kind that comes from knowing you are living in alignment with your values, not for applause, but for truth. In the end, it's about who you are. There's a quiet dignity in silent virtue. It's not flashy. It doesn't trend, but it lasts. So the next time you feel the urge to share your good deed with the world, pause, take a breath, and consider letting the act speak for itself. It might just be the most powerful thing you'll never say. Stoic insight. The hidden power of guarding your weaknesses. In a world that often equates vulnerability with strength, there's a quiet but powerful lesson from the Stoics that calls us to rethink the way we share our inner struggles. While modern culture frequently encourages us to be open about our emotions and weaknesses, Stoic philosophy suggests a different approach, one rooted in personal responsibility, quiet endurance, and strategic self-protection. The Stoics believed that while it's necessary to be honest with ourselves about our shortcomings, it's unwise to display those vulnerabilities to the world, not because we should be ashamed of them, but because doing so can leave us open to harm, especially from those who do not have our best interests at heart. As Seneca famously said, "A man who lays bare his weakness is like a fortress without walls." When our defenses are down, we invite both sympathy and exploitation. To understand the Stoic mindset fully, it's important to differentiate between two important concepts: flaws and weaknesses. Flaws are the imperfections in our character, like impatience, pride, or stubbornness. They're natural, human traits, and recognizing them is a step toward growth and self-mastery. Weaknesses, on the other hand, are sensitive areas, emotional triggers, or mental blind spots that, if known to others, can be used against us. These are the parts of ourselves that leave us vulnerable, and for the Stoics, guarding them was a form of wisdom, not denial. This doesn't mean we should suppress our emotions or pretend to be invincible. It means we must be intentional about how and with whom we share our inner world. True strength, the Stoics taught, is cultivated in silence. It is not something we prove through words or admissions, but through quiet, consistent effort. Consider this. If you often struggle with anxiety or self-doubt, voicing it to the wrong people could result in being underestimated or taken advantage of. Instead, by recognizing that tendency within yourself and working quietly to manage it through reflection, journaling, meditation, or discipline, you begin to build an internal fortress. You become stronger not by revealing your wounds, but by healing them privately and letting your steadiness speak for itself. This is the essence of what we might call the Stoic shield, an invisible boundary that guards your most vulnerable places while you work to transform them into sources of inner strength. When you hold your weaknesses close and face them with courage, you are no longer at their mercy. They stop being liabilities and start becoming lessons. Here lies a powerful challenge. Stop broadcasting your inner battles and start confronting them in solitude. Let your growth be quiet but unmistakable. Let your calm in chaos reveal your progress. Don't seek validation or pity from others. Instead, seek mastery over yourself. Every time you resist the urge to overshare or seek external reassurance, you're reinforcing your personal armor. The Stoic way isn't about pretending you don't struggle. It's about choosing when, how, and whether to share those struggles at all. It's about developing the kind of discipline that doesn't need applause or sympathy to stay committed. And it's about trusting yourself to carry your burdens without broadcasting them. As you walk this path, remember, you are not alone, but you are responsible for your own inner peace. Guarding your weaknesses isn't selfish, it's strategic. It's not about closing yourself off. It's about strengthening your foundation so that you can show up for others from a place of quiet resilience, not constant need. So, take a moment today to reflect. What are the parts of you that need healing, not exposure? What have you been tempted to reveal out of a desire for comfort? That might actually be better kept close while you build strength. Identify those areas and commit to working on them in silence. And when the time comes, when your actions speak for themselves and your peace cannot be shaken, you'll understand the wisdom of the Stoic shield. Strength, after all, doesn't need to shout. It simply stands. The quiet power of hidden dreams. In a world where we're encouraged to share everything, our thoughts, our routines, our goals, there's something beautifully radical about keeping our biggest dreams to ourselves. This isn't about secrecy born from fear or shame. It's about cultivating an inner sanctuary, a space where our aspirations can grow undisturbed by noise, judgment, or expectation. This idea, though countercultural today, finds deep roots in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics were known for their emphasis on self-mastery, clarity of thought, and inner peace. They taught that not everything needs to be revealed or expressed immediately, especially not the dreams that live closest to our hearts. You may ask, shouldn't sharing my dreams make me more accountable? Wouldn't it push me to act and make things real? There's truth to that. Sometimes the right people can offer encouragement, wisdom, and support, but there's also a quiet strength in restraint. Sharing too soon can open your tender hopes to the cold winds of doubt, criticism, or misguided advice. Why the Stoics valued inner silence. The Stoics believed in focusing only on what's within our control, our thoughts, actions, and choices, not the opinions or reactions of others. While dreams can inspire, they are also fragile in their early stages. Like a seedling not yet strong enough to face the elements, your vision can be uprooted by careless comments or skepticism. As Epictetus once noted, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Likewise, don't explain your dream, live it. Let it grow strong within before inviting the world to see. Let's explore a few reasons why keeping your aspirations private, at least at first, can actually empower you on a deeper level. 1. Protecting your inner world. Dreams are deeply personal. They're often tied to your sense of purpose, identity, and meaning. When you share a dream, you're not just communicating an idea, you're offering a piece of your inner world. If that offering is met with doubt or discouragement, it can shake your confidence or plant seeds of hesitation. By holding your dreams close, you protect their purity and give them time to become more resilient. 2. Nurturing self-driven motivation. External validation can feel good, but it can also become a crutch. When we tell others our goals, sometimes the praise we receive is enough to make us feel like we've already achieved something. That premature sense of satisfaction can diminish our drive. The Stoics would remind us, true motivation should come from within. Let your passion burn quietly, fueled by your own reasons, not someone else's approval. 3. Building patience and quiet strength. Big dreams often take time, more time than we imagine. In our rush to share or prove ourselves, we can become frustrated when progress is slow or uneven. But if you keep your focus inward, you're more likely to embrace the process, celebrate small wins, and stay grounded when setbacks occur. In silence, you build endurance. In solitude, you forge strength. Real-life reflections. Picture an aspiring writer who dreams of publishing a novel. If they talk about it too much, they may invite well-meaning but discouraging feedback. That's a tough industry or Are you sure you're good enough? These voices, even if subtle, can erode confidence. But by writing quietly, consistently, and privately, they give the story space to grow. When it's ready, they can present it with pride. Strong, complete, and resilient. Or think of someone planning to start a business that challenges the norm. Sharing that dream too early might attract doubt, fear, or even envy. But working quietly allows space to test, refine, and solidify a foundation. So when the time comes, the dream stands on its own. The challenge, silence as strength. The next time you're struck by a powerful idea or dream, try this. Instead of rushing to share, pause. Sit with it. Ask yourself if sharing will truly help, or if it might dilute your energy, distract your focus, or make you reliant on others' responses. This is not about hiding. It's about honoring. It's about treating your dreams like sacred seeds, giving them the space to take root and grow strong beneath the surface before they rise into the light. Let the world see the results, not the process. Let your actions speak before your words do, because in the quiet, your dreams find the space to become real. The Quiet Fortress, honoring the power of solitude. Welcome back, fellow seeker of stillness. In this final reflection, we journey into the heart of solitude, a state often misunderstood, yet deeply valued by the Stoic philosophers. In a world that constantly pulls us outward, solitude invites us inward. It is not emptiness, but fullness, not withdrawal, but return. Solitude, a place of power. Modern life rarely pauses. We're encouraged to share, to speak, to be constantly available. Social media, endless notifications, and the pressure to stay connected can make solitude feel like a void to be avoided. But to the Stoics, solitude was never a weakness or a sad retreat. It was strength, silent and unwavering. They believed that when the world quiets, the soul speaks. True understanding of oneself does not come from endless chatter or approval from others. It emerges from silence, from sitting with your thoughts and emotions without judgment or distraction. Solitude gives space for values to deepen, for fears to soften, and for inner clarity to rise. As Seneca wisely said, we are alone, but not lonely, when we are with ourselves. The sacredness of being alone. The Stoics weren't just advocates of solitude, they protected it. To them, time spent in solitude was sacred, private, and not to be shared carelessly. Why? Because some things are meant to be held in reverence, not displayed. Let's look at a few reasons why guarding your solitude is so important. It is your personal sanctuary. These quiet moments, whether you're journaling, meditating, or simply sitting in silence, are where your truest thoughts and feelings surface. When you treat these moments as sacred, you build a private refuge where your soul can rest, recharge, and reflect without interruption. Not everyone will understand. Solitude can be misread as loneliness, antisocial behavior, or even arrogance. When you try to explain or justify it, you risk opening yourself up to misunderstanding. By keeping your practices private, you preserve the integrity of your path and sidestep the noise of others' opinions. It builds self-trust. Solitude teaches you to rely on your own wisdom. It trains you to listen inward instead of constantly seeking direction outside of yourself. But once these inner rituals become topics of conversation or performance, they can lose their potency. Solitude strengthens your inner compass. Don't dilute its effect by overexposing it. Everyday practices. Solitude in the real world. Imagine this. You take early morning walks through the woods. It's your time to breathe deeply. Let your mind wander and reconnect with what matters. These walks ground you, but when others begin joining you, even with the best intentions, the magic shifts, the silence breaks, the clarity fades, or maybe you write in a journal each evening, sorting through your thoughts before bed. Someone asks to read it or insists you share your insights. Suddenly, your quiet space feels observed, even judged. What was once purely yours becomes filtered through someone else's lens. That's why the Stoics taught discretion. Keep the rituals that restore you close to your chest, not out of secrecy, but out of respect for their transformative power. Your invitation. Make solitude a practice. So here's a gentle challenge. Find your solitude. Claim it. Whether through writing, meditation, walking, or simply sitting in a quiet room, carve out space in your day where no one else is invited. Solitude isn't about being cut off from the world. It's about being fully present with yourself. In that presence, you'll find strength you didn't know you had. You'll hear your own voice more clearly. You'll reconnect with your values, your creativity, your peace. Final thoughts, the light within. As we close this journey through Stoic principles, remember this. True wisdom does not come from applause or agreement. It is born in silence, in the space where you meet yourself honestly and without distraction. By making solitude a regular part of your life, you lay a foundation of resilience and insight that no outside chaos can shake. You become anchored, not in the opinions of others, but in the still, strong center of your own being. Keep walking this path, keep growing quietly, and most of all, keep honoring the sacred strength of solitude